Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's topic is Macy's 20 years later. Let's get into it. All right, so I recently had to go to the mall. Don't ask me why. When I was a kid, the mall was like the thing. Taylor, have you watched Stranger Things? All right, so the mall season where everybody's going and meeting at the mall, that was my life growing up. So Taylor did not grow up in that world, but going to the mall on Friday nights or going to the mall on Saturdays, I don't know how many of you have listened to this. It was packed. Now, granted, we didn't have an alien coming through from the upside down trying to suck our souls and all of that. Stranger Things fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the mall was the place to be. And as I was a kid, I couldn't wait to go to the mall, especially around the holidays and like packed on Black Friday, right? The mall was packed on Black Friday. And yes, part of what the transition has been in our society is Amazon. And people can prime stuff, and there's a lot more just quick strip malls and box stores and places to buy online or go to a place like Kohl's, things like that. But I recently went to Macy's, and as I walked in, oh my word. First of all, it was a bit of a skeleton of itself, where there used to be 50 employees. There were maybe 20 in the whole store, maybe. But it was everything I remembered it to be. It felt like a total callback to the 80s, but it didn't have the vibrancy and it didn't have the life. But here was the other thing that was really intriguing to me. When I was there, I was younger. I was smaller. So I was both, my stature was different, but also my mind was different. And going to it now and like looking up, and our Macy's has a big like upper dome in the center of it, and seeing all of that, everything felt smaller. Again, I'm taller than I used to be. So everything felt smaller, and it just felt like, whoa, this store has changed. And in fact, it actually hasn't. Yes, the environment, the store has changed in a way that it doesn't have as many people in it. But I'm the one who's changed. I'm the one whose perspective is different. I'm the one who's a little bit taller. I'm the one who's a little bit wiser, who looks around and sees the mall as a different thing than what it used to be. And I started thinking, what other old environments have I maybe kept locked? Because I was excited. I was excited to go to Macy's, and I was excited to go, oh my gosh, I haven't been to the mall in years. This is going to be fun. And I go into the mall and I'm like, oh, no, this is not how I remember it, but it's also kind of how I remember it. But it's totally different because I'm a different person. There's this old adage that, and pardon the male language here, okay, everybody, but there's this old adage, no man steps in the same river twice. First, because the river is not the same, and second, because the man is not the same. And I got to thinking about what other old environments could I walk into that maybe I need a fresh perspective on, or maybe I need to apply my new, different perspective to the old environment. Maybe I would think a little bit differently about the place that I was. Maybe I would be able to look at it with a little more grace. Maybe it's not an old environment. Maybe it's not an old job or an old church or an old whatever it might be for you. Maybe it's an old relationship. Maybe you've kept someone locked in a past perspective because you just haven't revisited that relational dynamic in a really long time. But the question I have is, have you changed? Is there a chance that maybe they've also changed? Are you better than you used to be? Then is there a chance that maybe they're better and different than they used to be? Maybe I think one of the biggest disservices that we do to not only ourselves, but to the world around us, or maybe to other friends or old relationships, is I think we think they're the same person they used to be. But if you and I are different, maybe they are too. And so maybe there could be a place in your life where you could actually be grateful that your perspective has changed. Maybe you could look on the old hurt, the old wound, the old environment, the old relationship in a way that you go, oh yeah, I can actually be grateful that I'm different now and that that's different. And I don't have to hold people or places in the past any longer. Where can you simply let go? Where can you simply be grateful that life has changed? I don't know. That's what I got for you today. That's what I'm thinking about, is that change is possible. And if you don't believe it's possible for them, how can you believe it's possible for you? But I believe your perspective has changed. The reason you're listening to this show, and kudos, you're listening to the show because you want to grow and expand a little bit every day. So I want you to be grateful for that. Your positive play call today is I want you to get your positive play call out, and on it you're going to write the phrase, I'm grateful that my perspective has changed. I'm grateful that my perspective has changed. And here's what I want you to do. After you write it, I want you to smile, and I actually want you to say it out loud a few times. I am grateful that my perspective has changed. I am grateful that my perspective has changed. I am grateful that my perspective has changed. I'm grateful that my perspective has changed. See how I emphasized all the various words there? That's what I'd like you to do, is I'm grateful that my perspective has changed, because as you grow in your 4 eyes, insight, imagination, intention, and impact, all of that speaks to growth, expansion, and change. That's what I want you to think about. So before you go, let me pray for your 4 eyes here. I pray today that you would expand in your insight of what you learn in the revelation you're gaining, that you would increase, my friend, in your imagination of who you are and what's possible for you, that you would also increase in your intention of both your will and your action, and ultimately that you would increase in your impact. That is the positive impact that you are having in the world. And the way you're able to do that is because your perspective continues to change of who you are and who you're capable of being. So may you go out in the world, increase in your 4 eyes, my friend. Hit the DallasDailyShow.com website for all of your resources. Check out the show notes below for our sponsors as well. And in the meantime, go out there and have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.